Isabel had always believed life could be controlled with charm, wealth, and strategic relationships. Growing up in a house filled with warmth, laughter, and the gentle guidance of her mother, Mariana, she had everything a young woman could dream of: education, a loving home, and stability. Yet, Isabel craved more than security. She craved excitement, recognition, and the illusion of independence. When she left for Europe with Jonathan, the man she thought was her future, she believed she was escaping a life of ordinary existence for something extraordinary. She never anticipated the trap that awaited her: deceit, manipulation, and financial ruin. Within months, Jonathan vanished with all their joint savings, leaving her penniless, in debt, and hunted by creditors. Every night in the tiny rented apartment in a foreign city, Isabel cried herself to sleep. She had been arrogant, careless, and blind to the true intentions of the people around her. It was only when the eviction notice arrived that she realized there was no one to rescue her, except for the mother she had abandoned. Returning to her hometown was humiliating. The streets he once walked as a confident young woman now seemed too small, too familiar, and yet full of judgment. Mariana opened the door of their old home on the hill and embraced her daughter, without question, without anger, but with a steady awareness of the pain that needed to be endured. Isabel had expected reproach. She had expected her mother to scold her or reject her. Instead, she found silence resolve. Mariana had prepared for this moment without Isabel ever knowing. Hidden bank accounts, recovered property, and legal experts quietly at work ensured that Isabel's debts could eventually be resolved, but only if she learned lessons no money could buy. The first weeks were excruciating. Isabel sold the luxury items she had accumulated in Europe, designer clothes, jewelry, and tech gadgets, and felt the sting of each transaction. Mariana guided her in subtle ways, helping her understand valuations, negotiating prices, and calculating which debts had to be settled first. Isabel's pride suffered with each passing day, but her understanding of the consequences of her actions grew exponentially. She began working at a local cafe, waking before dawn to prepare pastries, sweep floors, and serve customers. She quickly discovered that respect and dignity were earned, not inherited, and that every coin was tied to effort and responsibility. Through the cafe, Isabel met Sophia, a young mother struggling to support her two children after her husband abandoned them. Recognizing herself in Sophia's struggles, Isabel began offering tutoring sessions in the evenings, helping the children with homework, buying school supplies from her own modest paycheck, and guiding Sophia through basic financial literacy. These acts of compassion, born out of humility and understanding, became a source of strength and transformation for Isabel. She felt a profound connection to the people she was helping and a satisfaction she had never experienced in her privileged years abroad. Mariana observed in silence, allowing her daughter to navigate hardship on her own while secretly ensuring that Isabel's worst debts could eventually be absolved. The legal investigation into Jonathan's fraud progressed quietly, evidence collected, and documents prepared to clear Isabel's name. Mariana never interfered openly. She wanted her daughter to understand that life's lessons cannot be given, they must be earned. Months passed. Isabel became competent, empathetic, and resilient. Her hands, once manicured and delicate, now bore the marks of hard work. She learned to negotiate, organize, and take responsibility. She even began assisting other women at the cafe who were facing financial difficulties or domestic issues, creating a small support network that extended beyond her mother's home. The humility she developed was paired with an emerging sense of purpose. She realized that her own mistakes had prepared her to guide and mentor others. Then came the day Mariana revealed the truth: the hidden accounts, the recovered property, the entire fortune her father had amassed. All resources that could have solved Isabel's problems immediately.
Isabel was stunned, her mind racing with disbelief, confusion, and finally awe. Mariana calmly explained that she had allowed Isabel to struggle not to punish her, but to teach her the value of dignity, effort, and moral responsibility. Isabel's tears were not of pity, but of profound understanding. She finally saw that love and care are not measured by money alone. They are measured by the guidance, patience, and wisdom that lead someone to become their best self. Isabel did not stop her work at the cafe. Instead, she transformed her role. She began teaching young women in her town about financial literacy, independence, and resilience. She started a foundation for women escaping abusive households, offering shelter, education, and mentorship. Mariana supported her silently, providing resources, but allowing Isabel to continue earning, learning, and growing on her own. As months turned into a year, Isabel applied for a master's program in social work, determined to pay her own tuition with her hard-earned savings. She wanted her achievements to reflect her journey, not her inheritance. The women she mentored thrived under her guidance. The cafe became a hub of support and learning, and her relationship with Mariana evolved into one of true partnership and mutual respect. No longer was Isabel a dependent daughter. She was a capable, mature, and compassionate woman, aware of her mistakes and committed to creating positive change in the world. When a letter from Jonathan arrived asking for forgiveness, Isabel felt no desire to respond. That part of her life had ended. She understood that her transformation was born not from reconciliation, but from confrontation with her failures and the wisdom gained through struggle. The villa on the hill, once a symbol of wealth and family memory, was repurposed as a shelter for women in need. It became a sanctuary for learning, empowerment, and healing, reflecting the values Mariana had quietly instilled and Isabel had internalized. Years later, mother and daughter stood on the porch watching the sunset. Isabel's journey had come full circle. She had faced betrayal, poverty, and the consequences of her own arrogance, only to emerge stronger, wiser, and determined to use her resources for the betterment of others. Mariana knew her daughter had finally understood the meaning of responsibility, love, and dignity. In that moment, Isabel realized that true wealth is not measured by money or possessions, but by the lives one touches, the lessons one learns, and the legacy of compassion, resilience, and respect one leaves behind.